Hello, I'm here to talk about the COVID virus and, moreover, the killing or elimination of this virus. Firstly, I'd like to state a few issues I see with the current way that the COVID virus is being approached. Mitigative efforts are okay, but they reduce the problem and they do not take care of the actual root problem of COVID existing. The fact is, these viruses are in the world, but society does not need to accept the existence of this unfortunate, deadly, lethal virus. It is fairly agreeable that this sort of virus is something that should be taken care of. So, if you can eliminate the virus or something like that, obviously, I think fairly clearly that would be a way to actually, really solve the problem of the COVID virus. So the thing is, the world has many substances and many things and many sorts of things that could actually kill the virus. We all know of disinfectants. We know disinfectants could kill germs. We know even hand sanitizers can kill germs and bacteria. But the COVID virus is a virus, and it's also something that's very strong in terms of how it can last. Now, it's not that would never be said to in a pessimistic way. But it is strong in the manner that it can last too long on surfaces and too long in the air. And as a result, it is clear this sort of virus has a way to live. And the way I think to approach this would be to kill the virus, to fully kill it, because we know it can be on surfaces. And a lot of people are avoiding places, outside places, all of these things, or wherever, or however it may be. And obviously when COVID is there, they avoid places that may have been infected or have a person that was infected there. So if you think about it, that is avoiding the COVID virus, but or staying away from the COVID virus to avoid its infection. But the fact is, it's still existent, and you're still allowing the virus to exist naturally. So I don't believe that's a method to really solve the COVID virus. It's a good method to mitigate things, but it's not enough. I believe somewhere in this world there are substances, and many substances, that could actually kill the COVID virus. And I believe that people should have an open mind towards this because it's worth testing. After all, that's what labs are for. They're to test things and see if something can work, such as in this scenario, to actually kill the COVID virus. You know, if you think about it, there's a few things now I believe that could actually kill the COVID virus, and I don't have testing of this, but it's an idea. One of them is excess amounts of oxygen. This is an airborne virus. It's transmitted in the air, through the air. If you think about it, it's able to live in the air, survive in the air through natural conditions. However, if you think about it, not all life can survive in abnormal conditions, but humans can survive in varied conditions. For example, if there was more oxygen in the air here, and now I'd have to check this because I don't want to say something about it, but maybe humans could be safe. So what that means to me is that with this COVID virus, if you have something in the air that the COVID virus is so easily able to survive in, that alters the condition of the air so that it is not able to survive, such as excess amounts of oxygen, this could kill the virus and could prevent any sort of airborne transmission and eventually existence of the virus to the point where it's extremely minimal, this virus the existence of it. And I think that's a very good start. But the problem is science and any sort of research has not put in really the effort adequately to see what can kill this virus. And I think that would be helpful if the scientists who are, interested in doing this kind of stuff actually look into that. So that's one example. And another, actually, there's a citation on this too. Hyperbaric oxygen is therapy used with excess amounts of oxygen. Now, I'm not going to say I believe that it can cure everything, but there are certain things that is more proven to be useful for. I've seen on various hyperbaric oxygen treatment center websites. It's just a perfectly safe treatment where they put people in a place where they have excess amounts of oxygen. Maybe it's some sort of container or something. Anyway, that is useful to kill pathogens and viruses. So I believe that excess oxygen alone could actually kill the virus. If you think about it, if you have a substance like a disinfectant or a sanitizer or something, these things might have some sort of efficacy to actually kill the virus to an extent, but it's still in the air. So you have to realize that the virus is still getting transmitted in the air. And I don't know actually how effective these things are. Like, is it like right away the virus is going to die? Is it with a disinfectant or some sort of thing? So I'm not going to make claims on those. But I do know, let's say, if there was something to kill the virus on surfaces, uh, you know, the air is still a place for these viruses to exist. So I believe, and I would urge, the people who are looking into this, to test methods to kill the virus, to kill the COVID virus. I think that is the way forward and the best solution, to actually get rid of the COVID virus. And I also think that more work could probably be done in terms of the surfaces as well, to improve the efficacy of methods to actually kill the COVID virus on surfaces. But airborne transmission is probably, I think, the highest. Don't quote me on it, but I think it's the highest method of transmission. Definitely, probably over surfaces. So for those methods, I don't think the water transmission has been shown to be as high, and there are also less people, near the water or that are in contact, so that's tougher for the virus to spread. Anyway, so I do strongly believe in these methods, and I do strongly believe that the elimination of the virus is the best way forward, and the full elimination of the virus, even across the world, is a method to fully create an atmosphere where the virus cannot live everywhere in the world, or even in certain areas, as long as it's safe. And this is a real disclaimer: as long as it's safe and doesn't somehow make things like, you don't want people spraying oxygen and spreading any virus like to any other place. That's not necessarily safe, right? Because even wind and stuff can blow the virus in different directions. So obviously that wouldn't be done. That would be very unsafe. But there are ways, which oxygen can be increased in the environment without increasing any sort of momentum, for any sort of transmission. Anyway, that's just a point, just a point to state. But I do believe in this method and approach, and I do think that people should take this approach. And I think that could be done in any country. And I'm also quite confident that the numbers of cases would go down if you were able to actually you have to make a really effective method. Then it would go down to very little. Depending on how effective your method is, and that's why, looking at this actually would be very important, and creating a good method. And, to actually really take care of this at some level. But, anyway, that depends on other individuals responsible for this. But yeah, that is my message and my idea. That I do think that the elimination of the virus is going to be what's going to take this out, and developing effective methods to eliminate this virus at a large scale in certain places, in certain highly concentrated areas, because that's where the spread starts. It lives. When you have a concentrated area, think about it. A lot of people are getting cases there, and it doesn't die down for a few days at least, right? So you can think that virus is somewhere in that area, and people are getting affected because of it. So right when it starts spreading in an area, highly concentrated area, a good thing to do would be just to isolate, contain, and make that area not with, I don't know if it's with oxygen or not, because again, you don't want to spread, but there could be a good method. You could make that area safe from the spreading in that area of the COVID virus, and also to other areas. Okay, so yes, that is my message, and I do hope, and I do have belief in this, and testing is always a way forward. It can never hurt to test this and to see if something can work. So I do hope this message actually reaches people, and hopefully action can actually be taken.